Welcome to Christine Climbs and a brand new climbing video. I'm happy that you found this video and I hope you will enjoy it. If you have watched my latest videos, you may have noticed that I've been kind of unmotivated and sad when it comes to my own climbing progress. But today's climbing session was a really good one, and I feel that I'm now getting back on track and that I'm more happy and satisfied with my own climbing abilities again. So this was a real fun session. After a long and good warm-up, I went straight over to my old project with the goal of completing it during this session. In Norway, the winter is slowly coming, so the indoor temperature at the gym was really cold and horrible this day, so the warm-up part was even more important to do correctly to avoid injuries. It's been a couple of weeks since I last visited this gym, so my first attempt was just to try the boulder and make it flow as good as possible. And then I wanted to climb up and just practice on the last moves. But that was rather a complicated affair because there aren't that many good climbing holds, so the easiest way up is more or less to climb the normal way. I wanted to experiment a bit with where I hold my hands, especially on the last hold. And I also noticed a foothold placed in the middle of the wall on the right side. And I was interested to try and see if that could help me in any way. But it only made it more complicated because since the wall is overhanging, I went out of the wall. The main reason that I went straight ahead to my old project was because I tend to stress myself a lot when I feel that I'm getting close to completing something that I have been working on for a while. I get really nervous and stressed out, and that's why I just had to go straight to this problem so I could maybe focus on something different later in the session. If I hadn't gone straight to this project, I would feel nervous and scared, I guess, the whole session, because I think I get so much respect for the boulder that I am afraid of facing it again. I don't know if this is something other climbers feel, but it has been kind of a problem because my head gets so tired of being afraid and nervous about climbing. So I have to work on not stress myself too much when I see that I'm getting close of completing something that I have been working on for a while. So this is my last attempt on my project, and this project is also going to be removed later this day, so I will never be able to come back to try it. Now my focus was to make the heel stable and to try to get closer to the edge on the left hold, which I was able to do. And then I got the last hold. Even though I felt that I was going to slip off, I just hung on with every drop of strength that I have in my body. And I'm still so surprised and happy that I was able to send my project just a few hours before it was going to be taken down forever. Since my main goal was to work on my project and hopefully be able to send it during this session, I was now feeling a bit confused and not sure what to do the rest of the session. So I decided to work on a V3, V4 problem, which is a lot easier, but also has some cool moves, just to have some fun movements in my session. I didn't find it very hard to complete this boulder, but I wasn't too happy about how I did the last move because I jumped straight into the wall with my hips. So I wanted to see if I could do it a little bit more smooth. This time I knew what to do and I was able to maintain in control without bumping my hips to the wall. So I was very happy about how I solved this V3, V4 problem. This next boulder is also a problem that I worked on in one of my earlier videos from climbing in Stavern. And since this boulder also is going to be removed this day, I wanted to give it another go, especially to see if I was able to stick the last move, because that was where I had some troubles the last time I tried it. I also found the start to be very complicated last time I was in this place, but this time I made it in my first attempt and I really like the beginning of this boulder. The ending is super complicated and here I was tempted to stick my thumb into the hole. Luckily, I changed my mind pretty fast because it's not worth taking a risk of breaking a finger just to complete a boulder. This time I also wanted to try to climb up and just practice the last move. But again, it wasn't any easy holds to use, so the only way up was to go the normal way, which isn't too easy. If you can see the first holds, they are small finger pockets, and I have a lot of respect for those kind of holds because I'm super afraid to injure my fingers. But still, I feel that my fingers are getting stronger and I now feel that I have some kind of control doing those kind of holds and those kind of movements. So that is a very nice feeling. I guess I also could have used the ladder standing in the background. It was a guy working to fix the cable hanging from the roof so nobody would climb and hang on those. But I'm a nice girl, so I just used the ladder to brush some of the higher holds. I talked with the route setter Tarek later this day and I asked him how you are supposed to do the last move, and he told me that you are supposed to hold it from the sides, like squeeze it. So the way that I am trying to solve it would not have worked, at least not for me. I tried to see if I could use some holds to heel hook or toe hook, but I couldn't make that work either. So if I could go back, I would try to do as he recommended, but now it's too late. So this was my last attempt on this boulder today. The start is going pretty good and I am happy about how I moved through the first sequence. I wanted to see if I could switch legs or place them different than I had done before. So I went back to watch my video to see if there was something else to do. And here I just got too tempted to fool around a little bit when I understood that I didn't get the balance or body control to hold it the way that I was trying. So no send on this complicated last move. But I had a lot of fun working on the first part. Then I went back to the cave with some bad lighting to work on another V3, V4 problem that I tried my last session, but I wasn't able to stick this first move. So my goal now was to try to reach the first orange hold on the right. And in my second attempt, I somehow managed to reach it, and since I hadn't thought too much about the rest of the problem, I just had to be creative and improvise the last part. But I managed to grab the top and hold on to it. So that was another happy climbing moment in today's session. The next boulder I'm working on is a V3 to V4 boulder on an overhanging wall. And I went to try it a couple of times without filming. And when I understood that I actually could make some progress on it, I ran to get my camera. I had a hard time understanding how to start the problem, but with the help from a local climber that had been projecting this boulder for several months, I got some beta tips about how I could use my heel to do the start easier. So that was really helpful. This climber also gave me a lot of good advice about how I was using my arms in a negative way when I was climbing. I guess you all have heard about T-Rex arm climbing, and he showed me in my videos that I was doing exactly that. So that was something that I wanted to focus on when I was working on the start. So the next time I worked on the start, my goal was to focus on how I used my arms. And at this point, I noticed that they were really bent, and I tried to straighten them out a little bit more. But that made me forget the intended beta, so I matched that right handhold, and I fell off because I got out of the steam. I still have my arms a little bit more bent than I should, but now I'm at least aware of it, so it's something that I can focus on more in the future. Now my goal was to move my legs over to the green part of the wall to try to match the hold, and this time I was able to stick it and complete the boulder. Again, I really surprised myself by sending this boulder because when I first tried it, it felt so out of my league, and I thought that I would spend a lot of time just complete the first couple of moves. The last month, my climbing confidence hasn't been the best, so today's session was a really booster for my confidence and for my motivation to keep on working hard and pushing limits. So that was a really nice experience. This boulder is also a V3, V4 graded problem. It's not too hard, the holds are good, and the movements are kind of straightforward. But I wasn't too happy about how I did the start, so I wanted to see if I could do it another way. But I think the first time was a better send than the last. The last thing that I wanted to work on today's session was the wall of the week. And even though there exists a beta video in Instagram, I just wanted to experiment with the start a bit on my own before I watched it and understood how to do the start correctly. The 3 first holds are dual texture, so the middle part is super slippery and you have to use the edges to get from the first part to the next. Everybody keeps talking about what kind of climbing style they have. I am not sure what my climbing style is at this moment, but I know that this boulder was a boulder that I really didn't like, and I guess that's also because it's maybe not my climbing style. I guess every climber have a weak and a strong side, and I haven't spent that much time thinking about what my strongest and my weakest sides in climbing are at this point. But I think it's something that it's good to be aware of, and I will try to define those things for myself. And that can also make it easier to practice on my weaker sides in the climbing wall. If I should try to evaluate myself, I would say that one of my strongest sides as a climber is the ability to move fast and try hard, even though the move fast part also can be an issue because I often do things too fast, so I have to do things over and over again until it sticks. I also think that my flexibility is quite good, even though I still can't use it to my biggest benefits, but it's something that I have genetically in my body, and it's something that I should take more advantage of. One of my weaker sides is probably impatience. I tend to rush and stress and give up if I feel that something is too hard or too complicated, instead of trying to find help and work more on one specific part of a boulder. Reading boulders and understand how to move correctly are also something that I find difficult. And maybe that's also because I haven't climbed for that long at this point. But I see other more skilled climbers use their feet and upper body in a completely different way than I do. And that's something that I also need to work more on, like how to use flagging and shoulder strength to move even better and more power saving through the boulders. And that's also something I can do with reading problems better. Understand how to move instead of trying over and over and over again until it luckily sticks. If you have watched my videos and you see something that I'm obviously weak or strong in when it comes to climbing and bouldering, I will be super happy if you share it with me so I can understand more about my strength and weaknesses, and so I can use that to work harder in the future and improve even more in the bouldering wall. I hope you had a good time watching this video. I had a really good session this day, and now it's more than 1 week since I recorded the video, and I still kind of live on the good feeling that I got during this workout. And I also hope everybody out there will get the chance to feel the satisfaction of completing a hard boulder in the next days. Have a super nice week, and I see you in the next video. Bye bye!